You started working for Sundance for many years ago. How did you start?
I started out working for Sundance. I actually started out as a volunteer. I grew up in Utah, and when I was in high school, I started going to the festival, and I completely fell in love with the world of film festivals, and specifically Sundance. It felt like a magical kingdom to me, where anything was possible, because I was taken away to all these different places through these amazing films I was seeing that I couldn't see anywhere else. And so I knew then that I wanted to be involved. I didn't know exactly what I would do, but I just decided to go and volunteer for the festival. And I started out as a volunteer, actually just hanging posters up around Park City, and then I ended up volunteering for the labs where they develop screenwriters and directors that takes place in the Sundance Resort in Utah. Many great filmmakers have come through there, people like Quentin Tarantino and Paul Thomas Anderson and people like this. And so for me, being a part of that, part of Sundance was an amazing education. And then when the programming staff, the people that select the films for the festival, were hiring someone to program the short films, I jumped at the chance and I applied for the job and they hired me. So I moved down to Los Angeles where all the programming takes place, and I started programming the shorts, and then over the years I started programming features, and then I became director of programming last year, and it's been an amazing run. I've loved everything about Sundance and what it is, and also it's allowed me the opportunity to travel to festivals all over the world, to see the world and to meet people in places that wouldn't have had a chance to go to, like right here in Transylvania. I'm so happy to be here seeing this festival.
Have you seen here any movies that would fit in the Sundance program?
Yeah, of course, there are many titles here that could fit in Sundance, but a lot of them have played other festivals already. So for us, we show primarily world premieres at the festival. We do have one section called Spotlight where we get to show films that we love that have played at other festivals. But it's a small section, so we can't show too many films there. So it's a possibility. There is definitely the caliber of films here is A-list. You know, it's as good as I've seen. You know, outside of you've got Cannes, and then the rest. And I think this is right there with all the other festivals.
How did you find the audience here?
I was pleasantly surprised to see the audience was so young here. You know, you go to some festivals and it feels like there's a lot of retired people that are have the time to go see these movies, but here in Transylvania, the audience has a nice mix of age range, and a lot of young, I think, students coming out to see the films, which for me is great. That I love the art of film, and to see that it is being embraced by a younger generation. It's not just going to be dying with us old folk. It's nice to see. So for me, that's been a real pleasant surprise. And all the theaters, every screening I've been to has been sold out. So that's another great sign of a successful festival.
What did you think of the Romanian movies you saw here?
I think the Romanian movies, well, part of the reason I'm here is because of how terrific the Romanian films have been the last 5 or 6 years, and it's a country that we as Sundance programmers had not been to yet, to meet with the producers and the filmmakers here, so that we have a connection, a personal connection with them. So it was important for us to come here, and I'm glad I did, because I saw a number of terrific films and met with all of the great filmmakers that I feel very honored to have met. I think specifically some of the new films that are here, like Medal of Honor, I thought was a very special film with a great lead performance. I think, and then Felicia as well as another terrific Romanian film that has its own style that I think has a very sort of has a very Romanian feel to it, but I think is something that has universal themes that everyone can relate to.
And what about Aurora?
Oh yeah. Aurora I saw at Cannes, and it was one of my 2 favorite films at Cannes. That and the Thai film that won, Uncle Boonmi, Who Recalls His Past Lives, that and Aurora were my two favorite films at Cannes. So I think meeting Christie, I didn't get to meet him at Cannes, and I met him here, and he's a fascinating man, and he's a great filmmaker and an equally interesting person to talk to. He's a very deep thinker, and I really am excited to finally have a connection with him, and I look forward to seeing his films. Maybe one of these days he'll think about giving Sundance his premiere instead of Cannes, you know, because he's done Cannes, he's over it, and he's ready for something new.
If you had to name 5 things you liked about Aurora, which would those be?
Well, I think one thing that maybe is interesting to think that what made it special was I think his performance, and I know not coming from a theatrical background to give a performance like that was very impressive. I think it's very nuanced and very he manages to convey a lot without saying it, you know. It wasn't verbal, he communicates with his face, his expressions, his body language, and I think there was an amazing performance. I think I also like the choices that he made about what not to show. You know, I think if you look at the events of what happens in the story, you would create in your mind a certain kind of film, and he pulled it back and told it in a different way. And I also think there's a great score in the film. We were talking. There's an American composer from I think the 1800s that he stumbled upon, and he used for the score of the film, which I thought was terrific. And of course, the way it was shot, I think his director of photography did an amazing job. Again, it coincides with the choices he makes about what not to shoot and what to shoot. I think they were very much worked well together. And then, I think for me, what I love most maybe about the film is how challenging it is as a film. I think even the people that love it are challenged by the film, and I think that's a great thing. It's a concept that not everyone, especially in the United States, I think can appreciate. It's like if they sometimes like their films to be pure, accessible entertainment, and then if something challenges them, it pushes them out, and they don't have patience for it. So for me, that Aurora required patience and challenged me as a viewer. As I was watching it, I had some highs and some lows when I was watching it, and then with the final scene, the lows were completely obliterated, and all I remembered were the highs, because I realized everything that I'd been through, I needed to go through to get to that place and that payoff. So that's probably what I loved most about the film.
Well, if you were a director now, on which Romanian actor would you take a chance on?
Well, I have to say, I just saw Francesca last night, and I thought Monica's performance in that was terrific, and I think she has a star quality about her that she could become a star in the U.S. as she's popular in Romania, but I think she's got that quality that could be very exciting in the U.S.
And who else?
Other actors?
Some male ones, if you can think.
Okay. I mean, I think you look at maybe Christie Puyu. I think he could. I wouldn't be surprised if he starts getting cast, get some offers to do some other films. There's I don't know all their names, but I thought like the Doctor in 4 months, 3 weeks, 2 days.
Vlad Ivanov.
Yeah, he's terrific. He has an amazing quality about him that, especially in that film, it's a very tough role, and that he did an amazing job.